What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Oak Tree Football Channel, and in today's video I'm going to be making my record prediction this year for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the Dallas Cowboys are a very interesting team last year because last year and this year. Last year, statistically, they were one of the best teams in the league, especially when it came to offense. They have one of the top offenses in the league statistically. Dak Prescott, the quarterback, had a fantastic year. I believe he was second in passing yards. It was just a great year statistically for them. Ezekiel Elliott had a great year on the ground. But the statistics really didn't end up. It was interesting because they ended with an 8-8 record. So even though they had these great statistics, it just didn't really translate to wins. But they're bringing a lot back, especially on their offense. Their offense probably got better drafting CeeDee Lamb, the wide receiver. They have a very good wide receiver trio with Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb. Ezekiel Elliott is easily one of the best running backs in the NFL. And Dak Prescott has potential to be one of the best quarterbacks. I don't think he's reached that potential yet, but absolutely he could become that good. I do definitely think there are some problems with his game, but easily he could become that good. And they have a pretty strong offensive line, one of the stronger in the league. And then their defense is pretty good. They definitely are losing some talent that it is going to hurt them. And I don't think the defense will be anything special. But I definitely don't think it'll be a bad defense. But yeah, I think the Cowboys should be a pretty good team this year. They're playing the NFC East, which a lot of people consider to be a bad division, but this year could be pretty good with the Cowboys and the Eagles, who could be good. Maybe the Giants could surprise us and be a pretty good team this year. But let's get into this prediction. Went 8-8 last year, not great, but this year they started off with a road game against the LA Rams. Now, I'm not too high on the Rams this year. I kind of feel like it's going to keep going downhill for them. Last year was not a good year after they lost in the Super Bowl. Last year was not a good year, and I just don't think it'll be that good of a year again. In my opinion, the Rams playing the NFC West, which in my opinion is the toughest division in football, so I just don't think it'll be that good of a division. And I just think we need to see some players step up. Losing Todd Gurley is going to hurt. It's just a lot of things need to go their way, in my opinion, for them to actually be another playoff contender. And I could see them being close to the playoff, but I just don't really feel like they'll be in the playoff this year. And even though this is a road game, I think the Cowboys should open their 2020 campaign with a win. Week 2, they play the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Atlanta Falcons are a very good team, in my opinion. But this is a home game for the Cowboys, which is huge for them. And I think it's going to take the Falcons some time to get really into the groove because they just didn't start off great last year. They're bringing in a new running back. Todd Gurley. I think it'll take some time for him to really get into the feel of the Falcons. So I think the Falcons will struggle early. I'm going to take the Cowboys in Week 2. Week 3, they have a really tough game against the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle Seahawks, in my opinion, are one of the best teams in the NFL. Russell Wilson is a fantastic quarterback. Seattle has some really good running backs. Wide receiving group is pretty good. Offensive line could be better, but then their defense is still a really, really good defense. So the Seahawks are just a great team and should easily make the playoffs, in my opinion, this year. This is going to be a tough one for Dallas on the road in Seattle. If Seattle has fans this year, I just don't see them winning this game. Playing in Seattle is tough. If Seattle doesn't have fans in the stadium, this game could go to Dallas. But I'm still going to give it to Seattle because I still think Seattle's the better team. I think it gives Dallas a better shot if there's no fans in the stadium for this game. But I just think Seattle is better than Dallas. So I'm going to give the Seahawks a win there. Week 4, they play the Cleveland Browns. Now, I feel that Browns are a very interesting team this year because I could easily see them as a playoff contender, a team that fights for the playoffs and gets close. But I could also just see them missing the playoffs, not being anything special. It's kind of what they were last year. Really disappointed a lot of people. And I think they'll be better this year, I do. But I don't really feel they'll be a playoff team, but I definitely think they'll be better than they were last year. They just were not that good last year. I think Baker Mayfield will get better. I think Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry would play better than they did last season. Landry wasn't really the problem. It was really Beckham just didn't really live up to the hype that there was around him. Nick Chubb is a really good running back in my opinion. And the Browns do have some pieces on their defense and just on that team that really will be able to help them get the job done this year. And I still don't see the Browns winning this game because the Cowboys are at home this game, so I'm going to pick the Cowboys. But I can see this being a pretty close game. I could see the Browns giving a solid fight, but I'm still picking the Cowboys. Week 5, they play division rival New York Giants. I don't really see this game being too tough for them. I don't think the Giants are that good of a team. I mean, I could see them being better than last year. I could see Daniel Jones actually having a pretty good season this year. But, I mean, I don't really see the Giants winning this one. So I am going to pick the Cowboys in this one. Week 6. They have a pretty tough game where they play the Arizona Cardinals. Now, in my opinion, the Arizona Cardinals will be a very good team this year. I think they're extremely underrated by many people. And there are some people that are saying, well, they won't be good because the only thing they did was bring in DeAndre Hopkins. But that's just not true. I mean, Kyler Murray was actually very good as a rookie, and he'll probably get better this year, I would think. Running back Kenyon Drake was pretty good in his playtime last year. Wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald is a top 5 receiver all time, arguably, and DeAndre Hopkins is a top 3 receiver in the NFL right now. Offensive line does need some help, but their defense, they have some good pieces on that defense. Chandler Jones is one of them. They have young safety Budda Baker, he's extremely underrated in my opinion. They have Patrick Peterson, who even though he wasn't great last year, he has been good in the past, and he can be good this season. So it looks like they can be very good. And to add on to this, they have their coach, Cliff Kingsbury. He's coming into his second year. And in recent history, we've seen some second-year coaches and second-year quarterbacks play pretty well together, such as the 2017 Eagles. Wentz and Peterson played well together, but also the last 2 MVPs were second-year quarterbacks, and probably 3 if Wentz hadn't gone injured. So I think it's definitely possible. Arizona's a very good team this year. I do see this being a win, though, for Dallas. This is the home game for them. I just think that's going to be big. And I think it'll be an extremely close game, and I could absolutely see Arizona winning. But I am going to give the win to the Dallas Cowboys. Week 7, they play the Washington Redskins. Soon, they won't be the Washington Redskins. By the time this game is played, it will not be the Redskins anymore. But as of when I am recording this, they are still the Washington Redskins. It will probably be only a few days or maybe even hours before it's changed. But the Redskins, in my opinion, they are the worst team in the NFL this year. A lot of people are saying that the worst team was the Jaguars. And I do think the Jaguars are a really bad team. I do. But in my opinion, the Redskins are the worst team and will probably end up with the first pick in the draft. So I just see this being an easy win for Dallas. Even though they are on the road, I just don't see the Redskins as a real threat for most teams this year. So I'm going to pick the Cowboys. Week 8, though, they have a pretty tough game against the Eagles. Now, I think the Eagles can be pretty good this year. They definitely do have some talent. Brandon Brooks, one of their starting offensive linemen, got injured. That's going to hurt. But they have a lot of talent. Carson Wentz, when he's healthy, is a top 10 quarterback in the league. I do think he is because he really, even when he isn't playing with the best wide receivers, he still manages to play well. It's pretty. If you really look at Wentz and what he's done, you know that he is a top 10 quarterback. And with some good receivers, if his receivers can stay healthy, he should have a great year. Running backs for the Eagles are looking pretty good at the moment. Wide receivers, if they can stay healthy, are good. Tight end, they have one of the best tight end duos in the NFL with Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz. And then their defense definitely is pretty good. Bringing in Darius Slay this offseason was huge. He's a very good cornerback, obviously. And then they just made some other really good moves on the defense, and they just have some good pieces there. So it should be a pretty good year for the Eagles, in my opinion. I have the Cowboys losing this one on the road in Philadelphia. I'm going to take the Eagles. Week 9, they play the Steelers. This is a pretty good historic matchup. 2 very historic NFL teams, 2 very good teams going up against each other. But in my opinion, the Cowboys, I don't know if they're the better team, but it's a home game for the Cowboys. I think they are almost as good as the Steelers, if not better. I'm going to pick the Cowboys in that one. Week 10, they have a bye. Week 11, they play the Vikings. I don't think the Vikings will be as good this year as they were last year, but I still expect this to be a win, or a loss, sorry. This is a road game. Vikings will still be a good team, in my opinion. It should be an entertaining game. I do think so, but I'm gonna pick the Vikings. I think the Vikings definitely have a lot of talent. Kirk Cousins has potential. Well, he can be a top 10 quarterback. Dalvin Cook's a good running back. The Vikings are losing a lot, but I still expect it to be a win for the Vikings. Week 12, they played the Redskins again. Talked about the Redskins earlier. They're just not good enough in my opinion. And I think the Cowboys easily should defeat the Redskins at home. Week 13, this is one of the few games I just don't see them winning. On the road at the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens, in my opinion, are one of the best teams in the NFL. The only others that can really say that they are the best other than the Ravens are the Chiefs, the 49ers, maybe the Seahawks, the Saints maybe, and that's really it for me. Those are just really the only top teams. Those are the top teams at the very top of the league, and I just don't see the Cowboys winning. The Ravens are just too good in my opinion. This should be a win for the Ravens. Week 14 they play the Bengals. The Bengals will absolutely improve this year, but I don't see them having enough improvement that they'll beat the Cowboys. This is a road game for the Cowboys, but I still think the Cowboys are better than the Bengals. I'm going to pick the Bengals there. Week 15 they play the 49ers. Now I did just mention the 49ers to be one of the teams I think are the best in the NFL. But this is a home game for the Cowboys. They're coming off not too tough a game in my opinion. I am actually going to pick the Cowboys in this one. I'm going to give them an upset. I could absolutely see the 49ers winning. Absolutely. But I'm going to give the win to the Dallas Cowboys. Week 16 they play the Eagles, this time at home. I think they'll get the win at home. I think the Eagles and Cowboys will split the season. They'll each win one. I think the Eagles win at home and the Cowboys win on the road. The Cowboys win. The Eagles win at home for them and the Cowboys win at home for them. This is the Cowboys home giving us the Eagles. I'm taking them. In Week 17 they play the Giants. I don't expect the Giants to be great this year, so I'm going to give the win to the Cowboys. So now as I always will go through each game once again, and I'll say who I think will win. I think the Cowboys started off with a win against the Rams, and I think they beat the Falcons, but I think they'll lose to the Seahawks, but beat the Browns, beat the Giants, beat the Cardinals, beat the Redskins, lose to the Eagles, beat the Steelers, lose to the Vikings, beat the Redskins, lose to the Ravens, beat the Bengals, beat the 49ers, beat the Eagles, beat the Giants, to have a record of 12-4 on the year. I'm just pretty high on the Cowboys this year, and I am an Eagles fan, so I don't really want the Cowboys to be great, but I do think they will be good. I just think they made some good offseason moves. There were definitely some bad ones, but I do think they made some good offseason moves, good enough to have a pretty good year, so I'm at 12-4. So these are my thoughts on the Dallas Cowboys for this year. What are your guys' thoughts? Tell me in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like. And if you are new around here, feel free to subscribe for more NFL and college football content. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.